All right, here we
Okay.
go.
Okay, good. We're good.
All right. Let's see. It looks like we are live, everyone. Hello. Thank you for joining us. And let me just get a few technical things straight. Okay. So here we go. I know it's very dark here. There has been stormy weather in Florida. So that's why it looks like it's 10 o'clock at night over here in my zone of the visual. I'm Amalia Natalia with Karmic Kindness, joined by the one and only Madeline Parker.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
We are here to share the Pisces full moon eclipse forecast with you. And it's happening on September 17th, 10:34 p.m. Eastern, 25 degrees, 40 minutes. And Madeline's going to go into the deep dive for all 12 signs. I'm going to give you a little bit of an overarching view of what I see. Not as broad, because Madeline talks about all of the astrology that's happening. I'm specifically focused on the aspects to the moon herself, and drawing the connections between the body and also the sign that the moon is in, so that you have a sense of there's always a rule of thumb not to have any sort of procedure on a specific part of the body on that full moon or new moon as it's related to that sign, because there's potential for complications or issues. So I'm going to go over that. And then, as I do every forecast, I share a flower using the Flower Evolution deck by Lotus Way. And exciting news, this deck has been out of print for a couple of years, and they are I don't think I'm speaking out of turn because I have a little inside scoop about it. They are redoing the decks, and they're doing all of the new flowers that they've been working with since they created that one. And that will be available fairly soon. And it's super exciting. I'll be buying those too. So we'll have a more expansive deck than the original one. So
Yay. I'm excited about that.
I know it's very exciting. And the other part of this too that I want everyone to know is, with the flowers, the best way to utilize and be able to connect to the essence of the flower, to the power of the flower, to the energy of the flower, is simply by here, I'll show you the one for the Pisces, this Pisces full moon. Oh, the lighting is not super. Let me turn it like that so you can kind of see all of the different parts of it. This is the
Interesting. Wow.
golden lichen flower, and it's a very grounding flower. And oftentimes when we're looking at the flowers for the particular moon cycles, I feel like when it's elementally connected, it's best. But what I realized with this is, I feel like grounding for this moon cycle is going to be very supportive. Like this flower feels, it's this light, because I was having to, hold on, let me see. There we go. This feels very supportive. It's very grounding. It's like a very low earth hugging kind of a flower, which feels to be really supportive for people when you're going through emotional challenges, especially with this. This is a partial lunar eclipse, also not just a regular full moon. So there's an intensity to this moon cycle as well. So this feels really supportive. So going back to using this energy, so just basically taking a screenshot, and I'm going to do my best to find a good angle so that everyone can see the flowers for each of the signs better. Take a screenshot of it and just imagine that flower surrounding you. If it's a flower that is easily accessible, like roses or daisies or carnations, those you can get and put them in your house and just feel the energy, the beauty of it. I have a big vase of pink and red roses sitting on the table in front of my desk, and every time I look at it, it just makes me smile. It feels so cheerful. And then obviously other ways are by using the elixirs and the mists. So here's one of the mists. You just base it around your aura, your auric field. It feels good. It smells good. I just can't say enough about these products, the Lotus Way products. So you can go to lotusway.com and find maybe a flower or an elixir that has the flower in it for you. You can reach out to me. I do support with flowers. So that's the long-winded version of flower support. So, all right, I'm going to get my part going so that Madeline can share her astrological wisdom. Do you
Well,
have anything you wanted to share, Madeline, with your
you can
bright
usually
green
tell. You're
shirt?
so psychic, Amalia, because you can always tell when I've got something to say. You're so intuitively connected. I'm impressed.
I just know
Yes,
you,
I do
Madeline. We
have
know each
something to
other.
say.
Yes, share,
That
share.
flower, what I'm going to tell you, and I'll explain as we go. That flower is so appropriate for this eclipse. It's quite shocking, and I will explain as we go.
Oh,
Or should I
okay.
say now? Should I say now?
Might as well. Yeah, go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay. So I'm going in now to the, unless you're not, okay, basically this eclipse is going to be, is blending and fusing the spiritual with the material. It's like an earthling. Look at all that flowers, all white, all that light.
Mhm.
It's an in the light eclipse where we're becoming more enlightened, and it's a practical reality. There is a practical aspect to it. And you said that is the light right by the ground, the earth.
Yes.
That's so Virgo Pisces. I'm like sitting here going bananas.
Oh, yay. I love that. Okay, so everyone, just so you know, this is the flower, the golden, I think it's the golden lichen. Lichen to me sounds
Weird.
leechy. I don't know. I don't love it.
Yeah, that's
This
like the perfect flower for this
Well, and
whole
this
read.
flower teaches us how to root our energy. So really feel strongly rooted into the earth. It amplifies tenaciousness, and it empowers us with our communication as well. So there's more to it, but we're going to just stick with that. All right.
Yes.
So the areas of the body that Pisces connect to are the feet, the toes, the pineal gland. So having an awareness of that, like the connection to these body parts, your feet and your toes. And that actually, if you think about it, what do we walk on? The earth, just like that flower is very close to the earth. So really, that's actually quite appropriate. Some aspects to the moon that I'd like to share briefly. So obviously, with any full moon, the moon and the sun are opposing each other. They're on the opposite sides of the wheel. So it's that reflection of inner and outer, outer and inner. Now, the moon is square to Jupiter. Jupiter, it tends to be a very benevolent planet. We all love Jupiter. However, because this is a square tense aspect, there might be an imbalance between your emotional needs and expansion. So there might be things happening in your world that are kind of activating you emotionally to help you grow a bit. Doesn't mean it's going to be comfortable. And be aware of having inflated expectations in your life. So, during this time period, you may feel like, oh, this is going to be so magical and amazing. And you get there and it's like, just okay, so just be aware that that could happen. Some really lovely aspects too. Moon sextile Uranus. And Uranus is retrograde, Pluto is retrograde, Neptune is retrograde, and those three aspects they're all three planets are aspecting the moon. So, remember when we have these retrograde energies, it's slightly different. We're kind of reviewing things from the past. This is so eclipse type energy as well. The moon sextile Uranus will really invite you to embrace freedom. It may initiate change. You might have innovative ideas or thoughts. So this is a really great time if you have something out of the ordinary pop into your mind, make note of it. It could be something important to remember later. The moon is also sextile Pluto. This is another really nice aspect. Pluto is also retrograde, like I said. You may notice some deeper layer of feelings and emotions that are coming up. And this is a great time for self-reflection that can potentially lead to deep transformation. So be aware of that opportunity for you. And then we have the moon and Neptune are conjunct. I know Madeline's going to be talking about that. This could create an experience of emotional sensitivity. So you might be a little bit more sensitive to things that people say or do, or things that are happening in the world around you. And then there might also be an opportunity for amplified intuition or clarity. When Neptune is retrograde, we actually begin to see things a bit more clearly than with the veil of illusion that Neptune usually brings. So this is a great opportunity for clarity on direction, and clarity too, you might find on an ending of something, because we are talking about an eclipse. So just kind of quick rundown on the specifics aspects to the moon, and then Madeline, wherever you would like to take us into the
Yeah.
cosmos,
A
that
lot
would
to
be,
talk about in this eclipse.
yeah.
Absolutely. Because, interesting that you were, I mean, I know we talk about flowers every time, but that flower card is really interesting to me because when I was out, I went out paddleboarding, and when I go paddleboarding, I kind of meditate and I get messages and I ask for omens and signs. And I turn around and I see this dead fish, a big fish, and it's dead right by my board. And I'm like, whoa, that has such a message, the dead fish, which is the Pisces eclipse, right? So something is dying in our Pisces house. We're going to look at that for all 12 signs. What is dead? What is no longer? It's something that's a releasing an outdated pattern in these eclipses. We're spiritually evolving. We're gaining emotional clarity, as you mentioned, and spiritual insights where we're growing spiritually. Our souls are growing. This is very much about it because that Saturn in Pisces is very much restructuring our lives in a way that's more coherent or in congruity with our soul, what our soul is seeking. So so I saw that dead fish. It was like, whoa, something is dead, completely dead. And that's what eclipses do. Something is over and there is a new birth. And then I went paddleboarding again yesterday, and I said, okay, well, what exactly do you mean by that dead fish? I need another sign about the sign that you sent me. So then I'm paddleboarding with a friend, and she sees a whole bouquet of flowers, and it is bopping up and down like a bouquet of flowers right next to where in the same sort of angle where I saw the dead fish. And I went, oh my gosh, that is a sign that explains the dead fish. So what is this about? So this new moon, this full moon solar eclipse is about the death of an out of dated pattern or out of dated belief or out of dated philosophy, something you thought or believed was the way or the answer. And now that dies, and it's mega, it's a big thing because we're going through these eclipses now. These are the Pisces Virgo eclipses are going to happen for another year and a half or 2 years. And so we're really going to integrate some new philosophical beliefs. We're all going to upgrade and become more enlightened in these eclipses. But there's a caveat, because the thing about Pisces, and you mentioned this because it's by Neptune, it's going to be on Neptune, so jumping back one sec, I got to backtrack a little bit. Are we ready to share? I'll share.
Yeah, whenever you're ready.
So what's happening, let me explain something. So what happens is we've got Pluto in retrograde, going back into Capricorn, which is basically telling us we're ending a chapter, big time for the Pluto won't be in Capricorn in our lives again. So we've really learned a big lesson about working hard for something that was not in alignment or incongruent with our souls, what we truly desired. So we were just doing what we thought we had to do, what seemed secure, what was right, more survival based, right? So we're evolving out of that. So then at the same time, we have Saturn in Pisces, which Saturn in Pisces is all about restructuring our lives to something that is a higher vision, more ideal. Now, the big question is, with Neptune there, is it too idealistic? With Virgo, is it practical? So what we're reaching for now is we're reaching for an ideal that is practical, because an idealistic desire for our lives or where we're headed, it's of no use if it can't be balanced in practical terms. So there's some sort of dream come true in this eclipse. Now, when I say dream come true, I don't mean like living in something that's totally impractical. So that's where Neptune comes in. So we're going to become aware of too idealistic idea that's not based in practicality. It comes down to ideal, because if it's practical, then that is the ideal. That is the ideal, is if it's practical. So that's what we're doing. We're reaching out of a we're going to go through all this in all the 12 houses. Somewhere in a 12th house, we are settling for less. We're doing the Capricorn thing where we think we have to work hard. We think we have to be devoted to it. We think we have to put our energy into this because it's something we're supposed to do as Capricorn, is hard work. So that's going away now to more of a soul. Saturn is Capricorn, sending us inward to restructure our lives to something that is more congruent with our soul, more in alignment with who we are, like authentically, and our true soul destiny. Because right now we're stepping into an ideal in our lives, an area in our lives where we want something better, something more what is ideal. Like, for instance, let's jump to the fourth house. You live in a situation, it's okay, but is it your ideal? Is it where you're going to live forever? Are you here forever? Is this your ideal situation? Well, now we're going to see a practical way in these eclipses that you can start to evolve your life towards an ideal that also meets practicality, because we're going to take turns with these eclipses. They're going to go Virgo, Pisces, South Node, North Node. And if I look at the eclipses for the next, let's just quickly do something. I just want to quickly look for the eclipses for 2025 and see what we see there as far as Virgo, Pisces. So we're going to have a Virgo at 23 degrees. This eclipse is happening at 25 degrees. So the next eclipse after the Libra one is going to be a Virgo at 25 degrees, right opposite this eclipse. Then we've got another lunar eclipse. We're going to have an Aries one. And then we got two Virgo eclipses next year and a Pisces one at 15 degrees. And the Virgos at 29 degrees. All the Virgo ones are right opposite this. So we are learning how to be of service in a way that is practical and useful and helpful, that can elevate our lives spiritually, ideally, in a way that is more of our ideal.
So Madeline, I'm only seeing the top part of your screen.
Okay.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah. Thanks.
So, okay. So now let's talk about all that's going on in this full moon lunar eclipse, 25 degrees Pisces at 7:34 p.m. PST. So there's several things happening. We talked about the Saturn and the Neptune. It's right in between there. And by the way, if any health issues show up, by the way, in anyone's lives, you're going to be really smart. This is a little bit of a warning sign, because when Neptune and Saturn conjoin, it's usually disease. Usually when I do charts on people and they have a Saturn-Neptune transit, they're sick. They're having some kind of a problem in their body health. So what you're going to want to do, if anything kind of an illness shows up right now, it is a warning that this is where you need to improve your health for that conjunction. So
by the way, your screen is doing that thing again.
So I'll just stop this here. I just explained. So,
okay.
So like, for instance, I ate something the other day without reading the ingredients. It had alcohol in it, and I get really bad headaches if anything has alcohol in it. And I had 3 days of headache, and I couldn't work out why. And then I read the ingredients, and it had port wine in it. It was like, so
wow.
Yes.
So you're so sensitive.
And I mean, how much was in there? Maybe a tablespoon, not even. So it was like, wow. So what that's telling me is, if I'm not careful on Saturn, Neptune, I've got to be very careful and read everything before I eat. That was my warning. So we're all getting nudged to take some sort of health initiative that's showing up right now that we need to take seriously. So we fix it so that when Neptune and Saturn conjoin, because it's squaring my sun and my ascendant, we're going to be really high health. You want up your vitamin C's, up your vitamin D's. You got to pump your health up right now during these eclipses. That's the bottom. That is a very important thing. Virgo is about our health, how we take care of ourselves. Pisces is karma, how we don't take care of ourselves, how we escape the responsibility of taking care of ourselves. So we're really leaving. If you're really working these energies right, you're gonna use the energy to really focus and get intuitive downloads to intuitively guide yourself to better health. Okay.
So, and is this basically happening during the eclipse season?
Well,
do you have dates you can share with people?
Yes.
Madeline?
So we're gonna have the big Neptune.
Saturn, Neptune.
Yes, the big Saturn Neptune conjunction is happening next year at, let's just go back to, yep. So the Saturn Neptune conjunction is happening like here, there it is. It's happening June 10th, 2020. It's probably happening like April, May, because it's going to build. So by basically in about 9-10 months, you're going to want to have your health under good handling, good grip. Yeah.
Solidify your health now.
Yeah.
So if anything is being revealed to you during this eclipse season where you could tweak it or fine tune it, now is the time to pay attention, because that will be supportive for you come April, May, June next year.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And it's interesting how the nodes are going to be right on this aspect of the eclipses, which is a big indicator that what happens in these eclipses is very fated. Of course, all eclipses are fated and destiny tilting. They change your life. But you know, with the nodes there, that's so interesting happening at that time. That's really, and you know, what's really important about that is that we're going to be wanting to be extremely, shall we say, ready to because our destiny is going to be changing in these eclipses. So it's like our whole new belief, our whole new sort of spiritual ascension that's going to happen during these eclipses is going to literally change the course of where we want to go with our lives, because we're going to go more intuitively soul connected with what feeds our soul. So we're going to be realigning to, and plus Mars is going to be in Cancer forever, which is going to throw us into emotional alignment with our actions. So the next sort of 9 months is very much soul feeding, destiny choices, connected, very connected to our intuitive, our souls, our what we feel, what we want, our intuitive. It's and because of these energies, we're gonna have a very strong connection to all of that. And so I'm kind of jumping around a little bit here. So the square to Jupiter that's happening, because we've got this. So I talked about the so the square to Jupiter that's also happening here on this new moon, because it's happening at 26. So it's putting in a square to Jupiter. It's kind of a weak square, but again, if you're not, this awakening is going to inspire us to be of service or to be of high inspired purpose. We're going to feel like inspired to be of purpose. And that's like Jupiter's energy. That's what Jupiter's goal is. So we want growth, but you want to be careful not to overdo anything, to get too idealistic, to reach too high, too impractical with that square. So that Jupiter square is going to say, no, you're overdoing it. Don't overdo it. It might, like you could, if you overdo something with a Jupiter square, you can pull a muscle, and usually that pulling that muscle stops you from doing it. It's like stopping you from kind of going out of alignment. So that's that. And then we also have a sextile to Uranus, which has a very surprising element to it. And in fact, Pluto and Uranus has this really beautiful trine to it, because I'm telling you, the more we pray, the more we speak to spirit, the more we talk to God right now, the faster we're going to get through any kind of a challenge. Because a Pisces eclipse is kind of karmic in the sense that we're really stepping out of a negative old way of operating. So that created kind of a karmic thing with that theme is always happening, but we're becoming spiritually awakened around something that has created loss in our lives, because Pisces is loss. So that's that dead fish. So, you know, this could come with a loss of some sort, but there's going to be some sort of a surprise spiritual solution or hope around it with that Uranus trining in Taurus. So that's sort of like unexpected breakthrough news, is insights. It's unexpected. So if there's a loss, it's for your benefit, let it go. Then an unexpected sort of good news or surprise or fresh opportunities come in, fresh perspectives are coming in, surprising mind opening. This is awakening, you're waking. Aha. Energy with that. So that's kind of looking at the Neptunian, I'm sorry, that was looking at what was I looking at there? I've
Uranus
written
and Pluto.
Yeah. Okay. So now we're going to look at, because there's so many transits in this, I had to write notes. So we got the conjunction in the Neptune, which is to, you know, you're going to get connected to your spirit. You're going to get spiritual energy. What am I saying? Spiritual
insights.
Yes. But
guidance.
Your intuition. Yep. Your intuition. Be aware of that. Seek clarity. That's the message. Seek grounded. You got that in. So that's pretty much, we already mentioned that. And so yeah, with the Saturn retrograde being right there, being very close to this, the Saturn retrograde is helping us to set new boundaries. That's restructuring our lives and aligning us with our true self. And we're developing discipline around. See, when you connect into something that's you truly desire and that's in your true soul, now we have to build discipline around it. We have to create structure in it's like creating a new that creates a new structure in our life. Okay.
Yes. I so relate to that. That is
me too.
Completely happening right now.
Yeah. And then it's a sextile to the Pluto too. And that's an interesting thing. That's a transformative energy. So we're transforming. So you see, this is an awakening energy where we get these spiritual insights and clarity, and then it transforms us. Then we become awakened. Then we become higher vibrational. We have more enlightened. The more enlightened we are, the better vibrations we are, the better our living experiences are. And so it's deep. This is deep soul transformation. This is where we literally up level sort of a light level in our souls in this whole thing. And in these series of eclipses, if it doesn't happen now, this eclipse may bring up some kind of a crisis of something that you do need to release that isn't in alignment with your soul's calling or your soul's truth, and that you're attached to out of survival fear base. That could cause crisis in this eclipse. That dead fish might be upsetting for some people, but the flowers that we found is the gift, is the gift that you're here to expand in, the spiritual gift, or we're supposed to focus on a true gift, not Capricorn survival things. So
I keep hearing that a great way to navigate some of these energies is to soften into what is happening in your life. And that doesn't mean go limp and do nothing or go into victim mode. It just means create the spaciousness in your belly and in your body to soften into whatever is happening, and allow any, like you said, your intuition is going to be heightened. So allow any messages to come through, allow that cosmic support to present itself for you right now, even if it's really uncomfortable or there's something that you're resistant to let go of.
Yes, because really Pisces, with the nodes are going to be in Pisces soon. So when the nodes are in Pisces, it's the opposite of the Aries energy, where you're being instigated and action oriented and all this. And now with the nodes in Pisces, we're going to go flow. We're going to go intuitive, receptive. And there was a Pisces eclipse in 2016, so you can look back to that. For me, that's literally when I started studying astrology, because it was in my ninth house. And we're going to talk about that. So the last little aspect to look at is, we talked about this trines because it's happening at 26 degrees. So it kind of trines Pluto. It's a wide trine, but really what's happening, the sun is trining Pluto, which is going to build into that. And the moon will build into a trine to Pluto or a sextile to Pluto. Let's take a look, actually. So let's see for a minute. The moon then will make a sextile to Pluto, and because Neptune is making a sextile to Pluto. It's so dreamy. It's such a dreamy energy. It's so like what you dream, what is your ideal? And then you find a practical way to make it happen. But with the sun trining Pluto, it really supports a lot of transformational growth in the ego area as well. I mean, we're getting full on. We're getting our ego thoughts are being transformative. What we think we're releasing, and then because when you have a spiritual awakening, it literally is like a new thing that as soon as something is new, it destroys the old. So what we thought before is the dead fish. It's like dead. It's no longer a part of the destiny of our lives, that way of thinking. So so it's basically releasing what no longer serves us, that we have done from a place of unempowered, where we were not empowered. Pluto's trying to teach us to get our power back from situations where we sacrificed ourselves or enslaved ourselves or worked hard or did something devotional that wasn't really our soul's truth. That was more karmic, that was more out of survival. So we're pulling out of that in these eclipses. We're following more spiritual ideal, what our souls ideally want, where we want to be in the long term. How can now this eclipse brings us practical abilities and practical ways for us to live our ideal dream. So that's it pretty much.
I mean, I feel like you came full circle on that.
Yeah,
it is. It's okay. What is your ideal, and what are the practical steps that are required for you to be there?
Right.
And is that ideal practical? I mean, It's kind of the two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, like let's say you want to live near water. Well, where's a practical place you can live near water and get a job or work? You know, so it's that.
Yeah.
But you want to live near water because your soul breathes there, or that's really important for your sense of meditative state of mind, your calm, peace, spiritual connection. All right, so we'll go through all the 12 signs. You ready?
Let's go. Let's get it with Aries.
Aries. Do this for the timestamps. I gotta hold it up. Okay, so Aries. Now, something when you look at eclipses, you can look at the sign and the house. Okay, but I don't know why I said that. We're just going to look at the houses for each sign. I know why I said that, but we're going to have to do something first, because if I do that, I have to go like this. And I have to go to the actual day of the eclipse, which is the 17th. Oh, whoops. So I can get it on the house system. 17th. Oh, we can stop the share. Never mind. I can stop the share. Sorry. I'll just do it this way. I forget. I don't share it when I do this. Okay, here we are on the 17th. I've got the eclipse down. Okay, so for Aries, Pisces falls in your fourth house. Actually, nope, that is wrong. That is wrong. I am not on. Sorry, guys. You're right there with this.
So I'll get a flower's already emerged. So I can't wait to hear what you have to say.
Oh, good.
See if they're lined up.
I am. Okay, so here we are. Now I got to do ours, and now we got to get to Aries. Okay, good. Come on, Aries. Don't disappear on me. There we go. Okay, so Aries, you're going to have Pisces in your 12th house. Yes, so this is extremely karmic for Aries. So when you have an eclipse in your 12th house, it's like deep emotional and spiritual healing surfaces, and it's very introspective, and it's about sort of trusting your intuition. But eclipses in the 12th hand can be quite tough. So some of these karmic issues could show up where you really learn a hard lesson, but you want to stay, again, you're releasing old patterns. Now, some of these old patterns show up that really screwing you in the foot. They're not working for you. So somehow you've gotten a bottom, because an eclipse in your 12th house can be a little bit of a bottom energy, like you hit bottom. And in fact, in general, Pisces energy is hitting bottom. It's that 12th house. You can't go further. You don't get to go beyond the Pisces energy. That's a lot. You don't get to start the new cycle in Aries till you've cured something in Pisces in the cycle, right? You don't get to start a new cycle in your life until you've healed something or cleared karma or fixed something in that 12th house. So something shows up that's really not working in your life. That's real causing you problems, and you face it. You got to face it. And you got to change it. You got to release it so that you can live a better, ideal, more spiritual soul life. It's very karmic. Obviously, Aries have been after really material things, because that is a tendency for Mars. They're ruled by Mars. So they're going to have plus Mars is going to be in Cancer. So their ruling planet is in a really softy energy. So very vulnerable, very intuitive, very soft. Their guard is down. They're not, there's a giving up, surrendering energy. They don't want to fight anymore. If you were to look at an Aries person right now, they'd be on a rock going, but there's then what happens is their soul meets their darkness, and then there's ignition of light here, re-inspired hope, awakening, understanding, spiritual evolution. There's a growth. What'd you get?
I dig it. So we have the jade succulent for Aries, and this activates presence. So being fully present with what is happening in your life. It's also giving you the message of go for it. Once you have clarity about what you want, which is pretty much what you were talking about before, that Neptunian energy will bring that clarity that you've been looking for. So the jade succulent for Aries is just, really reinforcing that, almost not stopping, but just being very, very present in the moment and being very clear on what it is that you're actually putting your attention and your energy towards. So
wow, does that speak to me, that card? Because if you think about the red in that card is Mars, right? And there's the Mars that caused pain. There's Mars action that caused pain or because Aries can act without thinking, and they can act impulsively,
Yeah.
and they go for things that they then lose their interest in. So there's sort of regret in this energy here. And then, but there's regret to some of their Mars action that was out of alignment. And now they have a spiritual awakening around it in that card with the flower bursting out of the red.
Opening up. Yeah.
Becoming spiritual out of that Mars energy that was not for their soul's highest good.
Yeah, I totally see that. And I think that even this flower talks about going for it, which is very Aries, like you were saying, but not until you know, not until you really, and it's not just like a knowing here. It feels like a knowing that's head and heart, a combination of the two.
It's very
Love
spiritual healing. This is a spiritual healing eclipse. All right, so now we're going to look at Taurus. I got to hold it for a few seconds. Okay, so Taurus, you guys are having it in your 11th house, which is actually really nice. It's on the dead fish side, where there's groups of people that are really out of alignment in your life.
On the dead fish side, Madeline, that's hilarious.
I'm going from the dead fish to the flower.
Yes. Okay. Sorry, everyone. Just we're having our fun.
There will be a death of some sort in these eclipses. So what will be going bye-bye will be connections, groups of people. A social media network could come down. You could end a group of friends, and you see that it was just not incongruent with who you truly are, or your soul's desire, where you want to go. You want to be with more. It's basically releasing old affiliations that no longer align with your values, and you want to embrace more like-minded connections. What else? It's like you're going to become more connected to spiritual communities that have the same ideals as you. But again, there's a practical applicable thing going on. So you're like, there's something very practical about these people, this group of people. It could be like your interest, if you're in the health profession. Your Taurans often are, because they're earth. So these might believe in a healthy paradigm that is more in alignment with your new spiritual opinions, or new awakening spiritual. You want to go more healthy with health paradigms. So you meet a new group of people, you become a group of other practitioners that are same-mindedness. But basically, it's actually a very lucky place to have an eclipse. Is good luck. It can be a winning. There could be some kind of a windfall depending on what's going on in your chart. You could meet some really auspicious. You could meet some new people that really upgrade your auspiciousness, your income, clients, all of that. But again, all that's more in alignment with an internal side of you that resonates, that feels like you're feeding your soul. These people feed your soul. There you go. What do you got?
This is so interesting.
Oh, wow.
It's hard to see the white flowers, but so this is the gardenia. And what I find interesting about the gardenia for Taurus and the 11th house placement is that this activates shifting your perception and transforming your weaknesses into strengths. And I was reflecting as you were speaking about the energy of this full moon eclipse, Madeline, is that what if this connects with how you perceive yourself in these circles? Maybe you're not seeing yourself clearly. Maybe it's time for you to come back to a pure state of being. This flower, to me, is almost like a clean slate. It's like maybe you need to start over, start fresh. And it might not necessarily be that the tribes or the people that you're with in a social media standpoint or online are wrong. It's just that you aren't showing up as who you truly are, because you feel like that's a weakness when it really could be your strength. So that's the interpretation I have from the energy of this moon cycle and this flower.
Yeah.
It feels like almost like a new beginning in a way, an opportunity for one, for a fresh, clean slate, and being authentically yourself. You don't have to try so hard.
Yeah, almost. And that's interesting you say that, because that flower really looks like someone who's just being themselves. Like that's just one flower, like they're shining their soul. Yeah. That's beautiful. It's like Taurans are going to shine their souls more and open up more and become more soulfully connected rather than maybe just, you know, climbing a social ladder, you know,
Right.
but
Or feeling like they have to fit in order to
mhm,
climb the social ladder to be successful. So they have the material success, so they feel
yeah,
secure, you know, like
yeah,
that whole story unfolding. So yeah,
right. And
really
so
quite
now they're
nice.
just flowering open their true essence.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's go to Gemini. Gemini's got Jupiter in your first house. So this is a big
Don't
time
forget the
for
card,
Gemini.
Natalie.
Oh, darn it. See, I race. Try to slow down.
That's what you got me for. We're a
Good.
team.
Yes, we are. You got the, don't you have Capricorn in your chart?
North
Gemini?
Node.
Oh, North Node. Good. I
Yeah.
need that. I've got South Node Cancer. I mean, sorry, I've got South Node Capricorn. So
Oh yeah. So
it's
we're a
interesting.
good
Yeah,
balance.
we
Yeah.
got a balance. Yeah. Okay, so we're Gemini. So you've got Jupiter in your first house. So that means you're instigating things, you've got ideas, it's a year of instigation, becoming more of your authentic self and expanding who that is and initiating outward projects that reflect that. And so
Get in their first house?
Jupiter. So remember,
Okay,
this
okay.
eclipse is ruled by
Gotcha.
Jupiter. Yep. So your Jupiter in, that's another element, but there's so much to talk about. But Jupiter in whatever house it's in also impacts this eclipse. You're going to find, if you look at where Jupiter is, there's a story between your house with Jupiter transit and your Pisces house. But anyway, so your Pisces house is in your 10th house for Gemini. So the 10th house, career changes, shifts in public image may arise, focusing on alignment and aligning your professional life with your true calling and being open to new opportunities. It's sort of like a transformation in, it's sort of like an awakening that your soul needs to feed itself through a more higher consciousness career desire. It's almost like instead of being motivated to make money or do well or get things working and get the achieving and getting it's like, okay, now what does the experience, what am I here to experience on a spiritual soul level in a career aspect? How can I bring my soul ideal work? And then of course we've got to again, let's say you decide your ideal career is to work in water. Let's say I just know a Gemini rising right now who is very good in water, surfer, and Pisces is over his 10th house, and he wants to maybe be like a film other surfers and things like that. So it's like something that's just your soul just knows it would be happy doing. What do you got?
Oh, all right. I love it. This
Oh,
part took a little time to emerge.
yeah.
This feels very bold, doesn't it?
Yes, it
Um,
does.
it's the Fire Star Orchid, and the Fire Star Orchid is a message of wild, fearless creativity, thinking outside the box. So, like you were saying, just that one example that you gave of the surfer and filming other surfers, to me, that's wildly creative,
Mm-hmm.
very bold. I mean,
Yes.
there's no messing around with that. And
No.
that could be a potential career shift that is aligned with that person's soul, with their
It's funny because
what
I just
really.
saw him like a week ago. So it's like this is shifting in his life right now. And it's like that's exactly what he's going to end up doing.
And it fires you up. And this is the Fire Star Orchid.
Mm-hmm.
It's that inner soul fire that's
Yeah.
looking to emerge. So,
Well, what's interesting is that's, you said the first thing you said is very bold, and Jupiter in the first house makes you very bold, very confident.
yeah, yeah, beautiful. I love that. I love that for Gemini.
All right. Cancer, right? Cancers. Now remember, you can be your sun, your moon, or your ascendant in an eclipse. You can feel it if it's on your sun in your Cancer. So Cancer, the crabs. Okay, so Cancer are going to have this eclipse in their ninth house. Now, that is a big transformation of a complete and utter belief system. I mean, I always concern that when I get an eclipse in the ninth house, I'm going to not believe in all this stuff anymore. But what keeps happening is I believe in it even more. And so I'm going to go through some sort of growth through learning, traveling, and I do want to learn a lot, expanding my perspective. I've opened my mind about how to work in this field. So it's like opening and expanding how to further either your education or how to learn more or how to travel and learn or how to travel and work or how to expand your life. Because traveling and astrology are the same thing. It's a wanderer. The reason I love doing astrology, I'm a wanderer. I'm a Sagittarius sun. I love wandering. I don't care where you put me. I want to go see what's around the corner. So that's the same with astrology. Astrology is we're seeking, we're looking to understand, we're seeking. And so so an eclipse there in your ninth houses for Cancer rising, we're going to be wandering, we're going to be seeking, we're going to be wanting to know more beyond what we already currently know spiritually. It's expanding through travel, because when you travel, you open your mind. When you travel, you see other consciousness, other societies, other beliefs, and you learn. So it's a big learning period for Cancer rising. What do you got?
All right. Well, here we go. We have the
Oh.
saguaro cactus. Okay. It's interesting. I use flower elixirs every single day, and I have a number of them that are sitting on my kitchen counter with my cacao. Madeline, when you and Dan come visit, you'll see, I'll share.
Yay.
And it's really fun to choose the flower essence that I'm going to use. And there are specific ones I'm intentionally working with. This one, the saguaro cactus, snuck in the past couple of days.
Wow.
And what is so interesting is the energy of this. I love this for the Cancerians. It magnifies purity of heart and being of service, which I feel like is so in tune with where you are in your life, Madeline. There's also, again, so in tune, the sense of fearless independence. Like you're ready to go out and embark on this trail and blaze a new trail. And it dissolves any misaligned intentions. So if anything, if there's any focus in your life, and this is the collective you, that have Cancer in your chart, if there's any focus in your life that's not quite aligned with your soul, not quite aligned with who you're here to be of service to, there will likely be an ending of some kind that happens during this eclipse. It's almost like the door will just, I feel like it will gently close. It's not like a slamming in the face, but it could be, just so that you know that's not for you.
Interesting, because most Cancer risings, they had eclipses in their 10th house, the Aries eclipse. There's going to be another Aries eclipse there in April 2025. And a lot of Cancer's risings are changing their careers. So this didn't end my career. It ended a social, because it squared my Mercury. So it killed my social media platform. So I had to restart that. But most Cancer risings, my son, he's Cancer rising, completely quit his work. He's now working for himself. I know the list goes on. I know so many. So it's almost like the Cancers are really feeling confident against similar message to really expand in enlightenment and grow even more in that spiritual realm of their work, you know. Yeah. So something will expand.
It looks like a sunshine that's like spreading out. Yeah. So lots of potential and possibilities.
Getting out there. Like the nodes are always, and so the south node, the north node and south node can be the castle and the jungle. So the north node tends to be the jungle, leaving the castle, leaving what's secure, leaving what's safe, and heading out into the jungle. So in a way, Cancer's sort of heading out into the jungle more spiritually and stepping out there more, you know, getting more confident about that and all of that.
Love it. All right.
Leo? So now we're going to get to Leo, and that
don't forget the card.
Oh, thank you. I have it right here. Leo, fire sign, Leo. See the moon today. The moon today is in Sagittarius. I can really feel it. When the moon is in Sagittarius, it's inspired purpose. That's how I'm feeling, very inspired. Fired up.
I usually talk fast during Sag moon.
Oh, do you?
It's like it fires me up. I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You kind of feel, have you seen that? Okay, so in the 8th house, an eclipse is going to be deep emotional transformations. Deep fears are being come up. They shake you to the core. Then you survive it. It's like Laird Hamilton's chart. He's a big wave surfer. I study his chart. He has a lot of planets. He has Pisces. He's going to have this eclipse in his 8th house. He has a lot of Pisces planets in his 8th house. So it really looks like he's here to overcome his fear of drowning, right? He probably drowned in a past life. So he often has these experiences where he almost dies and he thinks, well, this is it. He's at the bottom of the water. And then all of a sudden some magical thing comes up and pops him up. And he's like, oh, well. That's the transformation, like death and rebirth, right? So this eclipse will bring you to the point of feeling like you're dead, but then you survive and you're like, yes, you know. So that's the rebirth. But also this is shared resources. It's a relationship house. It's how you manage your intimate relationships and finances and joint resources and money. Usually eclipses in the 8th house can really bring up some fears around finances. But again, if some kind of a crisis occurs, you're going to be nudged another opportunity, because all those sextiles and other good things that are happening on this eclipse, you're going to have an easy flow to somewhere that's more emotionally or spiritually connected to your soul's truth, a way to expand your finances, solve this deal that's not going to be as karmically creative. In other words, you're supposed to end this form of, like, you could get divorced. Let's say you're in a marriage and this eclipse in your 8th house could indicate divorce. And now you've got to divide your resources. And now you're going to join your resources, or you're going to invest your resources in a way that's much more long-term, that's you can rely on, that's you. And that's more in alignment, using your money in a way that's more in alignment, or investing your money in a way that just feels more secure and stable and emotionally not something that stresses you out. It's like you're deleting some kind of a stressful financial situation and pulling in instead something that feels more in tune. So yeah, I hope that makes sense.
This
Does that
could
make
also
sense?
indicate, yeah, it does. This could also indicate a death of someone as well, correct?
Yep. Mother, family member. Yep.
Would you say that's for those who have Leo rising exclusively, or it's like any Leo?
Anybody, because when we're doing this, we don't know, like you could have a square to your 8th house in any of your signs, one of your other signs. If you could have other mutable planets, it could square that, and you could have a death. Full moon eclipses absolutely bring passing away. I have seen people pass away on full moons. Just full moons. That's usually when people pass. So like, for instance, one person I read for, she had a beautiful Great Dane, and he passed away on a full moon in her 2nd house. She had Pluto there. So it can bring death, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you would see it by now. You would be able to identify it by this point. You would see anybody that passes it on an eclipse is usually on their way out. You can usually see it building. But also, if you get divorced or end a relationship on this eclipse, it is permanent.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel that the permanence of this feels strong. Okay. Well, I feel like this is a great flower for any of those heavy things that could potentially occur. And what we're saying does not mean it will. It's just the energy is there, that if it's destined for you, it's there.
Yep.
So
you could get an inheritance. It can also indicate an inheritance. So,
yes. Yes. However, someone would have to die to receive that. So
yep. True.
Okay. So the Mandevilla, this flower encourages you to accept what is. So this feels very supportive if it's a divorce or if it's a death. And divorce is kind of a death in a way. It dissolves attachment to maybe a person or to money or to a situation. It's a reminder to fall in love with what is. Fall in love with what is. And there are some key words that really jumped out at me. Finding peace in the present moment, patience with whatever that process might be, and the healing around whatever may occur. And there is a potential for a feeling of freedom. So let's just say you're in a relationship that feels difficult or challenging. You make the decision to leave that relationship or end that relationship. There's a sense of freedom that may emerge in time.
Very good, because that's actually a moksha house. The 8th house is a house of liberation. So it's like, so this eclipse will liberate you from something. Sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's great.
You're really right on.
And the final piece of this is creativity. And Leo is very creative. So, any Leos out there, if you're going through something now, or if something comes up during this 2-week period of time, and granted, it's the 2-week period but then it's carries on for 6 months. So remember that too. It may not emerge right away. Some of you may already know what it could be, but just, using creativity for the healing process, perhaps, finding new ways to soothe yourself through a transition of some kind and bringing yourself into that present moment. So the Mandavia, cheerful, even if it might be a challenging time period.
Yeah, because you know what I think that really helps me understand the eighth house eclipse, which is like you face some really big fear. And that's what Scorpio and Pluto and the eighth house is all about, is dark areas and recesses of our soul where there's no light.
Mm-hmm.
And so we those are fears that are buried, and these eclipses come in, and they, especially a Pisces one, comes in and brings light. And you can see in that card, that's the root of some pain or darkness with light coming in.
Yeah. Yeah. Right here, there's the
Yeah.
darkness, and then there's
There's
light on
light.
the edges.
It's starting to
coming.
it's starting to alleviate some deep dark fearness, in coming a spiritual awakening around that, and adding light, like fear about money. That's an eighth house thing. Fear about the taxes. Well, you're going to get some light in on that, which now you evolve higher than that. That's interesting.
Yeah. All right. That feels like, all right. All right. Can handle it. All right. Virgo.
If you're not in a good relationship, Virgo, it'll end. If you're not in your spiritually soul aligned relationship, your ideal relationship, the one you want to be in, do you see yourself in this relationship for a long time? Are you just in it for now and knowing it's not your real person? If so, this could be a bye-bye time for that relationship. You could meet your true person on it. Usually you meet your true person on an eclipse, and you get divorced or end relationships on eclipses. Everything happens, most things happen on eclipses. So this would be a very big shift in relationships. You could get into one if you're single. I happen to know a Virgo rising who I think is going to probably get into one very soon. You've got Saturn in your seventh house, which is really teaching you about relationships and what you really and how you've been structuring yourself in relationships like that aren't your soul, that you don't, that they're not your ideal, they're not you're feeding you your soul, rather than, so you're going through sort of a confusion around that. Pluto in your fifth house is definitely teaching you to let go of karmic friendships and associations. So this is really, an adjustment in relationships, setting clear boundaries. You may, if you're in the right relationship, you may have to stop escaping dealing with it, because Pisces is an escapee energy. So you're not really dealing with it. And so you're not really living in the ideal way in your relationship, like less than ideal connections. So you want to start, you're going to start embracing, you want to create a healthier dynamic with this person that is less mental with each other. And you're going to start just maybe enjoying a more of a soulful, spiritual, deep connection. Or you're going to, if your relationship doesn't have a deep connection, it might go bye-bye. But if it has a deep connection, you're going to enrich that. You're going to want to explore the deep connection more, communicate more, connect more, get closer.
All right. Well, we have the pomegranate flower for Virgo. And, this to me, it's very Virgo in relation to the body and cleansing the body. You were talking about that, earlier, supporting your health.
Yeah.
And so this is vitality through cleansing your body and your energy, not just your physical body, but your energetic body as well. And ridding your system, your environment of toxins, irritants, and energies that aren't your own. Okay. Well, I think about that. And I think about if you're in a relationship that is not ideally suited for you, that's toxic, it's time to remove that person or you remove yourself from that environment. So this supports you with strength. This is a flower of strength, because it might take some strength to recognize what's happening and then take an appropriate action to change the environment that you're in. So the pomegranate flower for Virgo. And this is, look at the colors in this. It's very powerful.
Yeah.
Very
and it
empowering.
really, and it really speaks to me about pain, because that red center is kind of pain. And then it's like busting out of the pain, because that Pisces energy is not easy. Pisces eclipse, you could really get heartbroken. You could be in pain. But if you're in the, it doesn't matter if you're in the right or wrong relationship. This is something you have to learn to be more to be more soul connected in your relationship. So some sort of pain situation could show up that makes you have to shift to more of an internal connection with the person, if that makes sense, or change the relationship so that it's a more connected, deeply spiritual connection.
Yeah, either way, something needs to change.
Yeah. So let's go to
Libra.
Libra, come on.
Libra. And don't forget the card.
Yes, Libra, there we go. Libra. You're going to have an eclipse coming in next. So there's a lot to talk about for Libra here. Okay, so Libra is going to have this eclipse in their 6th house. So a 6th house eclipse is really, you're paying the piper for anything you've done wrong to yourself. There's a Virgo thing in that 12th house, karmic. So your karma is in escaping patterns. Could have been addictive. Now addictions play out in many, many ways. Video game addictions, sugar addictions, it can be drug addictions, but something about your daily routine is over that you've been doing. So that's why it's often considered to be a quitting of something. Like I quit sugar back then on those eclipses, when I have eclipses in my 6th house, big time. And so you're adjusting your daily routines, because what we do on a day-to-day determines our health and our wealth. So there's something that's ending in your day-to-day because you're having a crisis there in your 12th house, could be around your health. And you have to let go of habits that are no longer serving your well-being. And you have to focus on new sort of practices, which is spiritual. So you're going to let go of stress. You're coming into contact with something that you do. It could often just be addicted to being busy and causing stress. Some people are sort of addicted to stress. They don't know how to operate without stress. So, so you're going to sort of align with new holistic health goals, new healthy patterns that make you less stressed, that make you happy. You may quit a job because the 6th house is too stressful. A lot of times I read sometimes for people that are retiring because they're stressed. It doesn't mean they hate their job. They just can't handle the stress in it. So sometimes you don't have to quit the job to quit the stress. You just have to stop being and stress about it. You have to find some sort of stress management skills, some sort of meditative calming way to pull you out of that state so that you can be in smooth spiritual energies. And so you're operating and work from a place of calm, which is going to create better results. So
all right,
Libras, yeah.
I dig it. So we have, let's see, I'm trying to see, this might be the better spot. So what is that saying? Laughter is the best medicine. And this is all about health and wellness. Well, the pink spirea is here to activate laughter. Let your inner child play more. So maybe part of your healing is to not be quite so serious about it, to just have some fun, to, the addictions you were talking about too, Madeleine. It's like, maybe there's, sugar gives you that sense of playfulness. Maybe you go do something that feels playful. Every now and then I'll go to, there's a park walking distance from here, and I'll just go and swing on the swings like I did when I was a kid. And it reminds me of different things, how I kept wishing I could flip over the thing, but then if I flipped over, would I fall out of the swing? And just like silly things that your little girl mind goes to. So this activates that laughter, play, and it's a sense of feeling free yet supported. So if you think about being a kid, those moments when you would run free on the playground, yet you knew that if you fall and you hurt yourself, there was a teacher or a parent or somebody that would pick you up and take care of you. So it's that feeling again, and realizing that you have the support that you need, whether it's internally or externally. When you're allowing yourself to have that freedom and expansion, then the appropriate support will reveal itself. But laughter.
That card speaks to me. It says, very interestingly, if you look at Pisces, and Pisces can often be alcoholics and addicts and escapists, right? And so there's a negative escapism where and that's shadow Pisces, where you're skirting your responsibilities, you're turning away from your Virgo, and you're skirting your responsibility, and your life falls apart because you're not dealing with things. So this Pisces eclipse in your sixth house is like genuinely the higher vibrational Pisces, which is the real thing to use Pisces and escapism for, which is to gain spiritual connection, to be in the light.
And this is reaching
that
up
card
towards that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's literally having a spiritual evolution where you quit some kind of lower density addiction that's bringing you misery, and you find true spiritual enlightenment that pulls you out of that addiction, which is you find the real light, which is what you're seeking. Cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. All right.
Scorpio.
Scorpios are can be triggered and paranoid. I always studied astrology, and I read that about them, and I thought, wow, what a good way to describe it in 2 words. Sagittarius is inspired purpose. I'm learning all these 2 words to just summarize a sign. It's fun.
Interesting. All right, hold up the card, Natalie.
Oh, yep. Where are you, Scorpio?
Scorpio's hiding. Scorpios
hiding.
like to hide.
There you go. Scorpio, ruled by Mars in Cancer. So Scorpios are a little volatile, by the way, for the next 7 months. You want to definitely release little bits of feelings as you go, or it's going to build up and explode.
That is hilarious, because I was literally talking to my daughter about this. We were talking about the different ways that her dad and I, whom I'm not married to any longer, how he and I used to handle these moments of frustration or anger. And I was saying to her, like, I can hold it pretty long. And then when I'm at my max, it's the smallest little thing, and I just explode like a volcano. And she's like, I think Dad's the same way. And I said, I was like, I feel like your dad, he's more like, if something is wrong in his world, he's in a constant state of whatever, versus like, I can just let it, I can tuck it away, you know? And I was saying to her how I feel like a better approach is to allow it to like a slow release valve, you know, just allow that to come out versus, and then being able to speak to whatever it is that's happening in the moment that's making me feel a little bit agitated or annoyed.
Yeah. Because if it builds up and it comes too emotional, you can't even really, you just go, bah! You know, it doesn't really make sense sometimes. So
it doesn't. And you're not going to have the outcome that, well, I don't have the outcome that I would prefer, because I'm too amped up. So
people will run away. They'll run to the hills.
Emotional freight train coming at you. All right, I'll shut up now.
Did we do Scorpio?
No, I got sidetracked with the whole let the emotions out a little at a time.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
So Pisces so Scorpio has Pisces in their 5th, and that's again a relationship house or friendships. So relationships may undergo transformations. You could have a crisis, a big falling out with somebody that is not in alignment with your spirit, your soul, destiny. Because don't forget, the nodes are coming into Pisces, so we're destined to our soul. We fight it a lot in our lives, and then the universe is trying to make our soul's desire, our true destiny happen. So relationships and friendships and creative projects as well go in there, may undergo transformations. And this is a time where you release fears of being your authenticity, being your true self is going to come out here more online or in your work. And so basically you're releasing any fears surrounding creativity or love. So you're releasing, because those fear-based friendships, which it's hard to recognize when they happen, but usually they're problematic on some level, and you try to bend yourself to fit. With this Libra eclipse coming in, that's going away in everybody's chart, where we try to pretzel ourselves to make a relationship work. So when they're not the right aligned relationships for us that truly honor you or see you, they don't see you. Now you're going to find relationships that see you. You're evolving into more spiritually aligned relationships, people that have like-mindedness, and then creative projects again could open up, new creative projects that express your new, and remember, this is all ruled by Jupiter, so it's optimistic. So we're spreading, and the 5th house is all about spreading the light and optimism. So it's like you're going to start lighting people up. You're going to see the importance to light people up. it's like a renewed, inspired, the fifth house is inspired, creative. It's great. It's like a death of an old way that wasn't really inspiring, friends that weren't really feeding your inspirational spiritual development. Now you align with real spiritual friends and projects that really fire you up, inspire you. And it's philosophical. It's expanding philosophy and spirituality and consciousness.
Mm,
Scorpio.
I love
Scorpio.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Fun
love
one.
that. And the
Ooh,
golden monkey flower
wow.
is the flower for Scorpio. And
Wow.
this is a flower I've been working with for about a month. And what I guess I didn't really completely integrate from the energy of this flower as far as like my from my mind, but as I was kind of jotting down some notes, I realized, wow, that's actually happening. It gets rid of the monkey on your back, like the things that you tend to ruminate or fixate on. It gives you some spaciousness to allow those things to be there without attaching to them. It gives you a sense of freedom around not fixating on an outcome. Like, I want this thing to happen this way. It's a little bit more of that flexibility and being able to now this connects with what you were saying before too, Madeleine. It allows you to express what's on your mind without fear. There's this fear of, oh, if I don't say this, or if I do say this, what will happen? It just allows you to say whatever that is, and the mind doesn't have that grip on it so tightly. There's a relaxing into whatever is coming up for you. So I so
Nice.
connect and relate to this flower.
Yes. And I mean, talk about spreading light out to the people, that fifth house, like
Yeah.
sending light to people that feel dark, like seeing that. So it's like, it's almost Scorpio or seeing, because Scorpio could reside a little in the dark, that's part of their nature and they like it there. It's like deep and it's interesting. But now it's like, oh, but I'm supposed to bring light in on the dark here. And it's like pulling up a plank of wood with rot underneath it. You're going to let the light in. So it's like a fifth house is like allowing the light to be shined and inspire other people. So it's kind of says that.
It really does. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the yellow. It's just bright. It's cheerful. There's
center chakra, divine. It's the divine. It's the solar light, which is what Leo is supposed to do. Leo is supposed to inspire people with solar light and fire them up. We're supposed to faith restore. That's what entertainment is supposed to be. And that's what the fifth house. And when you're a mother, it's also the fifth house being a mother. It's you and a stage. And in that process, you faith restore, you raise vibrations.
Mm.
Okay, so Sagittarius, Sagittarii. So this eclipse for Sagittarius is hitting in your fourth house of real estate, property, home, family. Changes within your home life, family dynamics can go through sort of upheavals and shifts and changes. It's a great time for healing emotional mother woundings, and deep past life ancestral wounding can come up. Deep issues can come up that are really like old and kind of really, shall we say, old hurts that aren't really, that just need to. It's like Sagittarius with an eclipse in the fourth house, you're going to heal some deep unhealed mother wounds that bring you into a spiritual awareness around that wounding. So in other words, you're going to wake up and realize you're not blaming your mother for it anymore. You needed spiritual enlightenment around this. And this is why you came in for this issue. So basically a time for healing emotional and also, this is potentially moving. An eclipse in your fourth house could be moving, but also a new family comes in. With that healing comes in sort of higher vibrations. You're feeling more spiritually connected. You're coming with soulmate, true divine sort of partnerships coming in, making families with people that are spiritually, I don't want to use that word so much. I want to say people that you connect with on a deep emotional level, that true connected family, your true path, the family that supports you the most emotionally. Mars is going to be in your first house. So Mars is going to be, why am I saying that? Mars, I don't know why I'm going to Mars, but Mars is in your eighth house. So yeah, so you're working a lot with other people and joining resources and finances. So there's potentially a family coming in for Sagittarians, a new family, but you're releasing an old, outdated either ideas of who your family are and what your family is. You're going to have families come in all different shapes. So you're going to have a new opening. You're going to realize your spiritual family is not the shape you thought. It's going to be a different shape.
It's interesting. There were two flowers that came out for Sagittarius, and I was listening to, and feeling like, okay, let me feel into the appropriate flower.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized it's both. Both cards, both flowers needed to be revealed. So I'm going to share this one first.
I like that.
So
I get
Jasmine,
okay.
You get two. You're special, Madeline.
Yeah.
So the Jasmine activates self-appreciation and reminds you that you're beautiful. So I think about this when thinking about mother wounds. Oftentimes our mother wounds make us feel less than in some way.
Interesting. Good that you picked on that. Because the Virgo axis is there. Yeah, sorry, keep going.
Yeah, so this also will activate confidence and magnetism. So you're talking about drawing a new family in. You'll have the confidence to reveal your true self and then magnetize that new family to you. And then we have the bird's foot lotus, again, with that yellow, very confident solar plexus, emotionally stabilizing energy. And the message here is there's a sense of contentment and also a feeling of taking charge. So there will be a feeling of contentment around whatever it is that has come up in your appreciation of yourself, like reactivating that for you. And then taking charge in terms of putting yourself out there to magnetize that family to you. And again, we have laughter as a form of medicine for this time period. So looking at those mother wounds, you're also looking at yourself as a child and going into that laughter and that lightness and that playfulness of being a child again. I feel like, and I don't know, but it feels like it could be very healing and supportive to access that energy a little bit more in your life now.
Yeah, it is a very healing eclipse in that fourth house. And don't you think that second card, the first card looks like expansive, like there's 4 flowers, like your family gets bigger, like you grow your family maybe. But that other card, yeah. But the one that's all yellow and yellow, it's almost like you're going to be in an environment that fits your soul, like you blend in your environment because the flower blends with its environment. So it's almost like you're going to be at home. You're going to find, because you've got Mars there. So you're really creating security in a home situation that really works with your internal world and your external world are blended, where you're really at home. That flower is very at home in that environment.
It really is. It's just, yeah.
So if Cancers are going home, they're going to feel at home. They're going to be in a home that feels, Sagittarians are going to be in a home that is their true home, that resonates, that the inside and outside is at home.
Love it. Okay. Capricorn.
Okay, you hard workers, you. So where does this eclipse hit for you guys? In your third house. So what does that mean for Capricorn? So basically it is literally a new way of thinking. I mean, you're literally going to have an old way of thinking die. That's the dead fish for Capricorn. Is some old perception, some old ideas, some old opinions, dead, gone. And also how you communicate. You're going to reevaluate your communication, how you process information, and you're releasing outdated patterns and embracing new learnings, new ideas. You're releasing outdated patterns of thinking. Old ideas are going, and in place you're gonna. It's kind of like an awakening, but it's in the micro house rather than the macro house, which is the ninth. So it's sort of like it's like new information can come in that surprises and shocks you and really changes your mind, because the third house is the mind and the inner dialogue, and you're going to be, wow, I really didn't see it at all. And it's kind of like a form of a spiritual awakening, but it's more about a way of thinking that you've been thinking that is completely wrong, that is so an old way of seeing things. So it's a transformation in your thought process. You may have been very negative and you suddenly realize, gosh, I'm so negative. Now I'm going to be more optimistic and positive and see things more positive. And then all of a sudden you get sort of this spiritual, enlightenment, and you make that shift, and suddenly you see the world, you see the light world. So
I just had a visual of some of the Capricorns in my life, and all of a sudden they just see the light.
yeah, they're like, wow, there's
They're
light
brand new
happening.
people.
Their faces are going to be all like, wow, there's light. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, this card connects with that quite beautifully, actually. We have the white magnolia.
It literally like blinded me, that light.
Yeah. Hello, it's here. You are divine is the message. You are divine. There's spiritual fulfillment, being able to see that, see beyond what was obvious, see beyond what you've seen before. Go deeper and really trusting in divine timing. I feel like Capricorns are not big divine timing believers fundamentally. They can become that, but it's not how they're typically wired. And so, you know, really kind of relaxing into the idea of there being a higher power and divine timing. I feel like that would give all of us a little bit of a sense of peace.
You know,
just trusting in that.
Yeah, it's like it's a shift in their perception.
Yeah.
Like the perception shifts and they see the light somehow. They see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good.
All
nice.
Right. Here's hoping. Okay.
Yes. I have faith in the Capricorns, spiritual enlightenment.
Oh boy. All right. Aquarius.
All right. So Aquarius, that's going to be in your second house. So, yeah. So that's a fine. When you have an eclipse in your second house, one way of making money literally goes bye-bye. It's a dead fish, and a new way comes in, and it's the flowers that I saw, which is your gift. So something that is more, and second house is talent and gifts and abilities, natural. And so it's like really you're waking up to some sort of ability and or a new way of making money that is your true talent. So it's like your personal value shift. And also you could also see where you low self-esteem and low value and you're not charging enough or you're not valuing yourself enough. And so you become sort of transformed and you see your value as well. So basically it's you're reassessing your financial habits and aligning them with your spiritual growth, which in other words, you evolve in the light and maybe you don't spend money on something anymore that isn't fulfilling you and you change that. Or also the way you're working is could be, for instance, alimony. The alimony goes away, and because an eclipse in your second house ends one way of income, but the new way of income coming in is much more in alignment with your spiritual growth. And yeah, it says in line with your spiritual growth. So you want to stay open to innovative. Yeah, because of that Uranian influence in this thing, there might be a surprising new way of coming in. That's really the ideal and practical way to earn money. So there's like a shift to the more ideal way of earning money that is more in alignment with a talent or a natural gift that you have. I'll leave it there.
All right. Well, we have the peach blossom for Aquarius. And, you know, the peach blossom has a very strong connection to motherly love and compassion. So the way I'm interpreting the message of this card and this flower is that for Aquarius folks, magnifying and going into your softness and tenderness of self in order to know what is the best pathway for potential material success and or your sense of value and worth. You're also, there's an enhancement of your attentiveness. So, and it could be an attentiveness to yourself, an attentiveness to somebody else, and maybe it's an attentiveness towards an idea or towards a group of people that leads you down a pathway of being able to support and falling into your true calling that leads to some financial success. And the awareness of how you can show up more in a supportive role. I mean, Aquarians are here to be the way showers in a way. You and I talk about this a lot, Madeline. So, I think for some Aquarians, there's been such a fear around survival, money, how they make their way in the world, because they're a little bit different than others and they have a different path. So they may not be walking the path that their peers might be walking. and they're struggling a little bit based on their unique path, but really embracing the idea of that's where you're meant to be right now, and that everything else will fall into place if you are really truly being compassionate with yourself and not expecting too much of yourself, and just take one step after the next, and be aware of what's happening around you. So, and this is like very much like, pay attention, you know, be aware.
Yeah. It also sort of looks like new ideas,
Yeah.
new ways, you know, making money, like breaking out of a rut, an old rut that of making money that now opens up because you've got light, you've got new light. You see
All
more.
right, there you go, Aquarius. You got,
yeah.
Madeline and I've got it all sorted out.
Yeah, we do. We've got your lives. Yeah. Okay. We're Aquarians, come to us with any questions. We got the whole Aquarian thing down.
We got you.
All right.
All right.
So
last but not least, Pisces.
Yeah. So an eclipse in your first house. Of course,
Hard.
there's some. Oh. There we go. Pisces. So Pisces are going to have pretty much of an ego, kind of probably a problematic, because something in your first house isn't going to work out. Something that you've been working hard on, that you had a dream. It was idealistic. So something that's been, and this is the same for everybody. It's something that was idealistic may come crashing down, and now there's a more ideal, practical way for a Pisces to be who they are, their true self in the world. They're going to be more who they truly are, which is going to align them with something that's much more authentic and soul alignment for their career. But it'll come with a bit of an ego death, because if you haven't been on that, your ego has been running the show and has taken you the wrong path. And so these eclipses are going to smash your ego up, and you're going to fail at something and lose something, but it's for your highest good. It's going to align you with something better. Now, it could just be an old identity, the way you see yourself. So I think of a Pisces rising who sees themselves as this sort of musician. They really wanted to be this kind of a musician. And then suddenly this eclipse just shuts that door down for them. But the true musician that they are is opening up. Maybe they're supposed to be a blues player. That door opens up. So it's almost like your identity completely changes from a rock and roll guy to suddenly a blues guy, because you're truly a blues guy. That's the kind of thing. So you're shifting out of some idea of who you wanted to be and how you wanted to present yourself and how you thought was going to be the right way that will make you successful, that makes you achieve and it just isn't going to work, because it's not your truth. It's not your authentic self. So an eclipse, it releases outdated self-perceptions, ideas of who you are. I'm a Pisces moon. I'm going to go through this too. And so you're going to embrace a more authentic identity and focus on self-reflection. And then you're going to really start taking actions and doing things now that you see who you truly are, and that other way was a bit of a lie. And I don't quite have that clarity on me yet, but but there's something about Pisces who are going, it's my moon, so it's a more internal thing when it's your moon, but on the external sun and ascendant, the person that you have been expressing yourself to be on a public or an external level somehow is not your truth. And now you just, you surrender. Pisces is the energy of surrendering. I give up. Some way of operating just isn't working. So that eclipse breaks it down, and then you're left with all you've got, which is your true center. And then that's where you come from. So it's in a spiritual awakening to your true essence, who you're going to start being. You just can't, you're going to be more authentic now, because you didn't even know that wasn't your authentic self. You just thought, oh, this is what I need to do.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, let me share the flower. Huh? And for anyone who's still with us, if you all have any thoughts or questions or any comments about what we've shared so far, please drop it in the chat. And even if you're watching the replay, drop it in the chat.
Sure. And
we can answer you.
Ask us questions. We don't mind.
Yeah.
We'll answer you back.
So we have the giant spider lily for Pisces. And this, you're talking about the mental part of this, Madeline. This allows this lightness, this freedom of your mind, not attaching to those concepts or ideas of yourself or your path forward that are holding you back in a way, really keeping you from being your true authentic self. It illuminates areas of your life that have been stagnant, or that haven't been working out as you liked, kind of like to you know, connect to your example,
Mm-hmm.
Madeline, the guitarist. And then it might also be an opportunity to see areas of your life that just need a bit of fresh energy. You know, maybe you've been working on a project for a while and it's okay, but it just needs a little spark. It just needs like a little something, maybe more, a little more of you that is shining through
Mm.
in that project, and just streamlining things for you. It doesn't have to be complicated. You don't have to make it hard. Just really focusing on, I don't know, to me, it's like the feeling of it, you know, and you said, like you were saying also, it's the practical nature of
Mm-hmm.
whatever you're working on, the felt sense, and then the practicality of bringing that to life. So
Yeah,
a
that's
giant spider
interesting.
lily.
Yeah, because it's almost like they're going to surrender and give up, and then all they've got is their own little light. Their spirit comes out, not this fabricated image. Their true spirit is now what you're going
Yeah.
to see is going to explode out, and they're real. And that's going to be what brings them abundance. Is your authentic self, because the highest frequency that you can be is not love, it's authenticity. The more, and in the golden era, in the time of Delphi, the temple of Apollo, in fact, I'll read it to you because this is something I'm going to, when I'm going to do a fair and I'm going to make a poster of it. It says, man, know thyself, then thou shalt know the universe and God. And that was written by Pythagoras. And that is the
Yeah.
golden era. Know who you are, and you will know it. Knowing the most important endeavor you can take action towards success and abundance in your life is to zero in and know more of who you are. So Pisces that's for them, this eclipse, like who they are.
You
The
know, and
big
that's
I
such,
am, the big I am, because astrology teaches you you've got two eyes. You've got the ego eye, who I think I am, my story of me. Then you've got your true eye, the bigger eye, the soul, that is who you are. And that's what astrology does. It shows you your higher eye, your true real you. The mind creates another person in your head. It changes every day. It's mutable.
yes, it does.
It's not the real person. But
Yeah,
yeah.
it's so true. And I think that's, you know, that's part of the reason why Madeline and I do these cosmic chats.
Mm-hmm.
And I also feel like it's what you and I do with our work, Madeline, is
Mm-hmm.
sharing who people are with them in a way that they can connect to it and it feels true to their soul,
Yeah.
not necessarily their mind. But there's this resonance, this feeling inside where, you know, I know, at least for me, I'll speak for myself, you know, when I share an aspect of a person that they may not consciously connect to, but there's some part of them that I can see it where they're like, there's it's almost like meeting someone for the first time and you're
Mm-hmm.
really trying to figure out or feel into, how do I feel about this person? Do I like them? Do I not? How does this feel? Do I want to see them again? You know, kind of that dance that we do with ourselves, and the astrology and gene keys and human design and soul contract and
Yep.
all the different spiritual sciences out there really give you access points wherever you want to jump in to getting to know yourself better. So
Yep.
for those who are looking to get to know themselves better, Madeline and I are here for you. Our information is below.
Yep.
And
This doing the thing that happened to me, because I started doing tarot and astrology way back, and I only did it for me because it was helping me. I needed to know who I was. And then
yeah.
I discovered I was an astrologer because I had my moon in Pisces in the ninth house. It's like, wow. So it's like I was studying astrology for me because I found it fascinating. But the great minds on this history and earth in the times, they always knew their charts. They knew their astrology. They knew who they were. You step into it. You believe in yourself more. You claim it. It's yours. It's you.
I saw something recently, and this relates directly to astrology, and that there was a time period, oh, I can't remember exactly when, but for many, many years, that all of the rulers had an astrologer on their court, their
Yep.
cabinet.
Yep.
And then at some point, probably when the church started to have more of a role,
I'll tell you
that
exactly
shifted.
when that happened. It happened in 17th century, up before the 7th, because I teach this in one of my classes. Before the 17th century, astrology, a doctor needed to know astrology in order to practice medicine. Everybody, the Pope knew astrology, everybody knew astrology. It was pushed under and created into a heresy in the 1800s, 17th century. It then got pushed under. But until then, everybody knew astrology. You were, to be astrologically literate was more important than being the way we should be teaching people astrology in schools today, not what we teach people. It's like astrology, to understand the cosmic order and the way things work and the way the universe manifests and creates expansion. It's so
It
important to
used to be.
understand. Yeah.
It used to be. Yeah.
And you know, you wouldn't make choices. You in Nepal, I lived in Nepal for a while. I remember my mother telling me that the Nepalese use astrologers for everything. And I go, they do? It's so weird. But they, before they make any choice, they check their charts. And then if you look in history, like for instance, World War II photos of all like the generals and the armors, they always have standing right next to them a famous astrologer.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And pictures of Winston Churchill all during World War II. He's always with him, always right there as astrologer, 100%. He was a famous astrologer.
So I feel like, you know, I feel like astrology is such an amazing tool and a place of information and support. I feel like in this modern era, there are also other areas which are the ones that I really feel a resonance with, because they've really positively impacted my life. And then the other part of it is you really cannot discount your connection to a higher power, source information, because forget all of these things and really having a very close, deep connection within yourself and out without yourself, to me, is really the most
ultimate.
Oh, yes, that is the ultimate path.
Yes. Now, here's the thing I say about that, because it's really important to develop your own intuitive connection. But what we need is we need affirmation and you need confirmation. So you want to work with signs and synchronicities.
Yeah. Okay. True.
Astrology, 100%. 100%, because even if you are super connected, you don't always know 100% how that fits in the cosmic order. Like if you know astrology, you know exactly where that fits.
Yeah.
So you're gonna, if you're in it, you want to walk an intuitively connected path with your soul and higher guidance, but it's okay to have tools, because I have people come to me. I work in this little store up here, and people come to me and they're super psychic. And the storekeeper's like, I wonder why they're coming to you. They're like really psychic. And I say, it's because they want confirmation. They need to hear it. They need to hear it from someone that I don't know anything about their life, nothing about them, but what I say completely confirms what they're intuitively, and they get all these goosebumps. So working with a bunch of tools is not going to hurt you.
It is not.
No.
And you know, that's the other thing too, is that, you know, when you're emotionally activated, like I had something that happened about a month ago, and I was reading my charts and I was looking at all my things, but I was not totally trusting my interpretation because I was emotionally activated. And I reached out to Madeline. I'm like, hey, girl, I need you to look at this, because I see this, but I'm not sure if I'm looking at this accurately because I'm too emotionally invested in it. And so I feel like, you know, that's why, you know, I know that I am talented in what I do. I'm human. And sometimes the human part of me is like, I'm too in my wounds. I can't really see clearly. You know,
I use astrologers. I go to astrologers. I do my own astrology. I do my own tarot. But boy, sometimes I listen to my teachers and they just tell me what I needed to know.
Exactly.
And I can totally shift my attitude about something. And it's so helpful.
It really is.
I do believe in self-connection and knowing the soul and knowing the bigger I and knowing the self. I say astrology is a big window to that, a really wonderful way to do that too, and connect even deeper, you know.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the key. One of the key points is, I actually was having a conversation with someone earlier today, and we were talking about like some of the personality tests that people take to know themselves and understand themselves better. And I think there's huge value in them. And they're also only mirroring back to you the way you see yourself, because you are the one answering the questions. So when you're looking at astrology, soul contract, human design, gene keys, it's literally your soul expression. And that is the true sense of who you are, not the conditioned person
That's the
that
problem,
you've
is that we have
become.
a conditioned perception of who we are, and that's where we get divided from our chart, our astrology chart. Because
Right.
if, like, I was trying to explore all these other professions, if I'd known my astrology chart, I would never have wasted my time with those professions. They were not me. I would have known, forget that. So
Yeah.
yes, it helps you not be in the dark about a lot of things. So you know, and also I think it's going to be the solution, because religions. So what happened in the golden era is we looked at the cosmic order, we look at the cosmos for the truth of how to operate in the universe, because the order is there, it's all explained. And then we have we lost my train of thought. What did I say? How did I open up the sentence?
You were talking about the cosmic order.
Cosmic order, knowing the cosmic order, understanding it. I lost my train of thought. Totally forgot what I was going to say.
Maybe it'll come back.
Yeah.
Well, maybe on the replay, you can leave a little note.
Okay, I'll do that. Yeah.
Yeah,
But just to
when it
sort of
comes back.
wrap up this eclipse information. So basically the sort of overall arching knowledge about, or what would be helpful to know around this eclipse, is that we are balancing the ideal with the practical, right? So balancing practicality with our intuition. And so grounded action. So we have an ideal. We're now seeing that there's a practical way to do it. So we have grounded action, and
Just like the flower, the flower, the
yes,
golden lichen.
Yeah, it's like the
Perfect.
ideal, but right on the ground, like it's grounded. And so basically we can dream big on this, because dream as big as you can practically go. Basically. That's basically
And
it.
you know what? And you know what? If it's not practical, you'll find out pretty quick. So you can't really go wrong.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we thank those who have joined us. Let me do one quick little check in the chat to see if anything else. Andy joined us. Thank you for joining us, Andy. He said he was finding clarity and understanding.
Oh, good.
Keep your positivity flowing. Keeping the balance. Amen. Wonderful. Yay. Thank you for being here. Thanks for all of you who were here either in real time or in replay time. We're so grateful that you're here. You're the reason we do these. And also because Madeline and I have so much fun talking about
we enjoy